God. Okay, so yeah, so this week they asked about 3 tickets we'll just run through, and then the rest will just be progress updates, and then like the progress on the setting up the testing. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, hope you guys can see Firefox. Okay, so the first was the thing of setting the recursion levels to 10. That was done. Then the second thing was being able to view concepts. This is actually what took the bulk of the time. Oh God, there's no deployment, sorry. Let me just jump to the local for that quickly. But the pull request is up. I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, basically the implementation was okay. So we don't have to merge and then again go back. Just give me a moment and just check out to that branch.
Sure. And for what it's worth, Lincoln, for something like this, it's probably worth just sharing a screenshot or something, or a couple of screenshots.
Okay.
To get feedback also, but we can look now also.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me just log out of that. Get into one it already has dictionaries. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so let me just trigger this thing to just build the thing, and then we'll come back to this ticket later. Let's not waste time on something small. Okay, so sorry, this one is done. Okay, so something like that. It's a current look. There should be a ticket on that pull request for you guys to just jump in and look at how it will look. But I just wanted to show you guys and see if there's any particular change that you'd like to be made on this.
So the challenge, I think, with viewing, no, I guess this makes sense. Like where I was going was that because locales, you know, there are multiple fields or that apply to a given locale.
Yeah.
That viewing all of them all together like this in when you're viewing them as opposed to editing is maybe a little challenging. I think the way this works in the the normal OpenMRS interface is that locales are split off onto different tabs.
So okay, so,
I have to admit it does look clean.
So would okay, so something like based on the collection locale. sort of show only those names, and then how would that work?
Well, so if you, in the OpenMRS implementation, all of these, I don't know, what do you call, these are the white names thing, what's the object called?
Everything on that card.
A card, right. Okay, so the card, what's behind it? A panel? No, the card sitting on a panel?
Okay, no, just the page itself.
Just the page itself. Okay, but normally, I guess the card would only show a given locale, and that there would be a setting on the underlying page or panel that would shift locale for all of the cards.
Well, actually, I think the way it works on the OpenMRS concept dictionary screen is that the names card here actually would have a tabbed panel on it, and the tabs would be the languages. However, at least in the edit dictionary screen, but then I actually think I don't like the way OpenMRS, that tabbing thing works in OpenMRS so much, personally, so I think this is fine. Certainly it's fine for MVP. I think maybe if I look at this more, if you share a screenshot of this or a link to it, I think we can probably give some more feedback about, like up at the top, the having a label over the value, but no real formatting distinction between them. It's not, we want to actually make the value more emphasized than the label, and like there's something to be done about
this. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, there's some way to make that a little bit more compact, maybe, and just more like make the values more visible.
Okay.
But I think generally probably it's just going to be little comments like that. I hear. Are the names sorted just in whatever order they come back in from OCL, or are they?
Yeah, no, I'm just literally presenting what comes back from the API. I'm not sure what sorting is used on that end, but yes.
Yeah, so I think we probably want to, for the names, ensure that it's sorted by language first, and then by type. Yeah, it should be fully specified, then synonym, then short.
Fully specified, synonym, and short.
And
okay.
Index term would be last if there are any of those. I don't think there are in CL yet. Yeah, but so
that we can see some of what the other fields look like.
Let me just zoom out.
Okay.
Is there more? Let's see. We would expect mappings.
Yeah, so like this concept didn't have mappings. So for something which has mappings, I guess I would have to go to demo. Like it's hard to find something on QA which has mappings, like direct mappings. But basically, it would look the same as this, but with a map type.
Okay, so you probably want to show mappings none when there are no mappings, rather than like having the card disappear.
Okay, all right.
I agree that something like answers or set members the card should not be displayed if it doesn't have any, because those are expected to frequently not exist, whereas like any concept can have mappings.
Okay, and then descriptions none as well. That should not disappear.
Yes.
Although theoretically they're supposed to have a description. I thought that's now required.
Yeah, that might be, but actually, OCL demo data might not.
Yeah, actually it's not required, Andrew.
If you create a new concept, you can't create a new concept now without a description.
I think you can. I think you can.
Well, anyway, you can or you can't. I think it doesn't matter for the view screen.
Yeah.
But yes,
okay, it should
you should always show this. Yeah, the descriptions part should be there. Possibly, if the descriptions are really long, we might want to wrap them or something, or like have them ... or something. I don't know. Maybe that can be post MVP. There's really long description. The page can just get tall. That's okay.
Okay.
I actually thought all of this was post MVP. So we've added this view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that was that, and then let's jump back to this. Okay, then the other was this QA. Okay, so the other was this. So this is probably a regression, but so like this would still say required even after, like even when it's the only field, sorry, like the only option, for situations where you are not part of any organization. So that
Wait,
was.
aren't all the asterisks required?
Sorry, what's in that drop down?
Which one? This one?
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing in the drop down.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
not, yes. Okay. So yeah, it is required, but there was a ticket that said if like if there's only one user, then there's no point in like there's nothing to select from. So that will.
Well,
Okay, so like
Right,
this
but
will.
why is the? I think the question is, why do some of these things have they have the red asterisk, but several of them have the word required in red, but like preferred source doesn't, for example.
Okay, so that just happens when like if you try to like okay, so if you start from scratch, there's nothing, but if you try to submit, then that's
Oh,
when
I get it. I see.
Oh, but it highlights all the required things, regardless of which
No,
ones
the ones you
left
missed.
blank.
the ones you missed.
So,
But you haven't missed owner, right?
well, that's the thing. So if you should have defaulted to it yourself automatically, so that one should, that it's more of a default. If there's only one selection possible, it should default to that and be required.
But I think
yeah,
I think it's
so,
doing that, right?
Yeah, so that was the bug. It would show like it would select, but it would not like record this. So it would keep just saying required, like even after filling the rest.
Okay.
It would still do this. So yeah, so this was the ticket. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand why the word required is shown there for that field in this case.
Because it didn't get sent with the submission.
But why didn't it get?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the version.
That was the,
this is the fixed
that was
version.
Darius. Okay, so what you've just observed was the bug.
Okay, I see. We're looking at the broken version. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
That is what I'm trying to. That's what this this ticket was trying to solve. So it was like pre-selecting it, but now it's so like now it's actually recording that. So if I do something like that. Yeah, now fine. Okay, so let's move this down. Okay, right, and then the last one was the language. So if
sorry, I just wanted to add, by the way, I didn't say this, but like it's really exciting that the view concept is in. That's great. That's going to help a lot. You know, we kept calling it post MVP because technically it was, but it's really useful. So it'll be exciting. I'm glad to see that. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so the last one was so if I created a dictionary with say local French, so that was not affecting this language, like the default like language selection. So basically this ticket was looking to improve that. So if we run that run there.
Well, that's cool. I never knew that you could link the Jira directly to the build with the fix like that with a button. That makes a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
Unless you're actually doing the build while you're doing it, because that's kind of slow.
No, it's no, we are using a free service for this. So if you don't use it for 30 minutes, it sleeps.
Oh, it shuts down. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just. Okay, so let's see. So if I got something which has, local French. Okay, let me just create one here. So I just that. I didn't do it. Okay, so French. Right, so that's like changes this automatically. That will take it. Yeah. So yeah. So from.
And we decided that leaving the type, automatically setting the type to be like fully specified until there is one, then send it in. We decided that was post MVP, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that and the more complex flow of if the first is fully specified, make the next one synonym. Yes, post MVP.
Before you go off the screen, are the fonts the same on those two yeses? The top yes looks larger than the bottom yes.
This and this?
Yeah.
Or the description. Wait, this and this?
Yeah, doesn't the font are the fonts supposed to be the same?
Sorry, between the word French and the word yes, or between both yeses?
Between yeses.
To me, it looks the same. It might just be a screencast artifact or something. I'm just looking at my phone, so.
Yeah. I think it's the same, Andrew. Andrew. Mic check.
I can hear you. Check.
Yes. And Andrew, in regards to the question you've put in the chat, let me see. We're adding a concept.
Yeah, I think as we originally had said that we were going to report when we were not creating a concept because it was a duplicate. But when you are when it's not an individual concept that's duplicated, but a whole set of dependent concepts, the message that comes across is that they're all added when they're really not. So it was a concept with 34 dependent concepts that was already in my dictionary. I deleted one of the dependent concepts. And then I wanted to make sure that I hadn't lost any, so I went back and re-added the whole set before, and they reported all 34 as being added when only one was added.
Okay, so for example, if I added lab results, sorry, let's show it. Okay, so this.
So it's 10. So this has 10, right? So there would be 10 concepts in this one.
So if we remove this, for example.
Yep.
And then added that again.
Oh, that's interesting. And that said the whole thing had been already added.
Okay, yes. That is interesting. Let me see. But so does it? Okay, so let's first see if it adds like a particular concept, and then we'll come to the like does it add? Okay, so unknown. Sorry, total. That's the wrong thing.
That's okay. I mean, you can use that one too. Right.
Okay, so that already added. So it adds it back, so that's okay.
The messages aren't correct. It's confusing.
Yeah, the message is incorrect. So if we remove both of them, then I guess.
Sorry, I had stepped away from my screen. So you're saying if you remove the parent and one of the children, and you add it back, and you add the parent back, you will end up in the correct state, but the message is wrong. Is it misleading?
For both states, even if you don't remove the parent, if you just remove a child, it re-adds.
If you just remove a child, didn't it give the message though that you can't re-add the parent, or the parent's already there, so it doesn't re-add, or does it?
In this version, I got that message that it was already there, but it still added the children in my version, at least the one I went on demo.
Okay, so the requirement is it should be smart enough to tell the user like which particular yeah.
I mean, you can do an assessment of like how, like the message says like X thing and number of things added. If you could say this number of things added, this number of things already there, that would be great.
Yeah.
If it turns out that that's like a huge engineering effort, then feel free to push back and say you can't. We need to fix other bugs in the time, but that would be the right behavior.
Yeah,
and are we sure about?
Yeah, I mean,
we should verify that if you re-add the parent, it does the intended thing. And I'm not sure what the intended thing is, Andy. Would you expect if you re-add, if the parent is there, you remove one of its children, but the parent is still there, you try to add the parent again. Andy, you think it should?
I think it should be more nuanced, right? So something like instead of saying the parent is already there, I didn't re-add it. You'd say something like,
Oh, you mean that's an error message?
Were added. Only dependent concepts were added, or something like that.
No, but I'm saying, what do you think? Not what message should it be? What should the behavior be in that case? Actually, the parent was
already there.
Yeah, it was already there. Do you think we should actually try to re-add it recursively, or should we actually just say it's there and don't?
No, because then I think that was the thing I was trying to correct for, because it's quite potentially easy for someone to remove a dependent concept, sort of unknowing that it was dependent, or a concept was dependent upon it, and then no way to get it back again, or not know what I missed. So I'd want to be able to reapply the entire set, and I think it's probably set theory.
That makes sense. One other question, actually, I realized, and I did not include this in the testing requirements, but it should be. I don't think we ever explicitly talked about this. What happens if I add a concept, any kind of concept, and then a month later, there's a new version of the CL dictionary that has a new version of that concept? If I try to add that concept again, I should get the new version. Like, it should actually recognize that it's a new version and re-add it.
Well, let's see how would that work, because technically,
basically, yeah. So, like, what happens? So, event in the long run, we actually want like something that says, "How is
I mean,
Sorry,
ideally,
in the long run, we need a feature that will tell you what has been updated and give you like a one-click yes refresh, like update.
Yeah, Darius, it's different. If it's a mapping thing, what stuff attached to a single concept, then that's the same concept, right? It's just a new version of the concept, and therefore,
yes.
You're subscribed either to the head or to a particular version, and if it's the head, then you update. If it's a particular version, you're not.
Sorry to cut you. So right now, Andrew, we cannot subscribe to the head.
Yeah, underlying OCL doesn't support that in collections. You can only include a specific version in the collection.
Right. So in that case, then,
So for
not going to update like that automatically. You'd have to re-add it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and like following from Darius' scenario, I see a situation where you sort of add a dependency of a particular version, and a different concept has the same dependency but of a different version, and then trying to add that concept will say the concept already exists. Yet it's like an older version. Yeah. So basically, to answer your question, I mean, the current implementation has it's not version aware. So that would need a bit more thought.
Yeah, so I realized that had not occurred to me until just now. I guess because we haven't been thinking on the months of usage time frame, but that's basically it's an MVP requirement that if I try to add a new version of something, it needs to actually add it. It needs to refresh. Basically, it needs to remove the old version, add the new one. I think it can be as simple as just sort of applying that operation. Unless the underlying API has some smarter way to do it.
So I mean, okay. So let me give you two scenarios. So for example, the scenario where you update a concept. Right now we manually have to delete the old concept reference and then add the concept reference. So I guess a remedy would be if we could find a way for the back end to like maybe have a flag, maybe like auto update. Like if you try to add a new version of a concept that is already there, you could just automatically like delete the old version and
yeah, we should ask John. We should ask Jonathan if there is any support for anything like that right now. It's definitely there's like a long-standing feature request to like do the bulk update thing, or like I want all the new versions of.
Yeah.
And I actually think that, you know what, that might even have been worked on, or maybe he just told me it was going to get worked on. I don't. So we should check with him. But we do, from our perspective, we need some sort of support for getting the new version. Like if a new version of something has been released, we need to be able to, or sorry, if upstream there's a new version of a concept, you need some mechanism to get it in, whether it's like cool and automatic or manual. It needs to at least let you get the new version.
Okay.
Just to mention, the bulk import feature has been implemented. I'm not sure if any changes on
Bulk update feature?
The bulk import feature in OCL.
Import.
Yes, bulk import.
Okay, no, so we're thinking of like bulk update of a collection to latest versions. Bulk import, I'm interested to know about more in general.
Let me confirm that then. Thank you.
Yeah. No, but if you can send me a link to something about bulk import, that would be cool to know for the big picture usage of this, but I don't think we need to. It's not relevant for this specific ticket, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Andrew, anything to add?
Andy, if you're saying anything, you're on mute.
Andy? No, I think Andrew has jumped off the call. Okay, so I think this is something that we need to follow up. Andrew just added a comment in the chat. I'm not sure I get it. Okay, so Darius, I don't know. Would we be looking for say a manual like click like get like update collection, or?
I mean, in the short run, I'm just thinking. No, the actual workflow is that the user would have received an email update like, "Hey, a new version of OCL is out," and it always they get an email like that, and it lists the new concepts. So they know. You know what? I use that concept, and I see that it just had a new. Yeah. Anyway, they will have seen offline from the system that there's an update, so they go in and they just find the concept again and say add. or if they find the concept again, I mean, even better UI would be they find the concept again and say like or they go in, they find the concept, they say check for updates. It turns out there's a new version and they click refresh. But it would also be good enough if they just go to the regular, exactly all the only screens that exist already, they go to add a CL concept. They choose the concept that they already have. I mean, that they already have an older version of, and it just adds, it's just says updated version as the message. I guess what I'm saying is like I can imagine fancier UIs and better workflows.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, we just need to give them, like right now they can't, it's like impossible for them to update when there's a new version of something. And that would be, I would think, a blocker for people being able to use this if they can never, get the new version. So we just need to give them any mechanism at all to get the new version.
Okay. So, so two things. I think Andrew wanted us to lay this out in a doc.
In a document.
Yeah. So in addition to that, I guess we'll right. So
that's a good point. I'm not going to have time to write it today. So let me say the following bullet points and maybe include these in the minutes, and then we can make those the basis for a doc.
Okay.
So basically it is, when you add a CL concept, when you try to add a CL concept through the UI, even if the CL concept is already there, number one, in all cases, because you've chosen to try to add it, it should do the recursive add thing. It should recursively add the dependencies just to make sure that, to bring back any of them that might have been dropped.
Yeah.
And as a very much preferred to have, but not 100% required, it should give a message like, and concepts were added and we're already there, or something. So that message is accurate.
Okay.
So then secondly, if the thing that you have tried to add has a new version, if the thing they have tried to add has a version in CL that is newer than the version that's in your collection, it should actually refresh it, which could mean remove and add again, or could mean replace if that can be done in whatever the backend supports. But it needs the end user action needs to be that it's sort of freshened up or updated to the newest version, the newest version of CL, and it should ideally give a message like updated.
Yeah. So that is for the particular concept. Now, what about for the concept, for the recursive concepts? If they do exist, if an older version of them exists, ideally that should be the same.
Yes, the recursive action should also do the refresh. When it is recursing to add, it should also have the refresh behavior.
Okay. So I wonder, is there a situation where
no, actually, for what it's worth, that's right. That should also have the refresh behavior.
Okay. So is there a situation where a concept has a sort of hard dependency to an old concept version? In that you updating the concept for every concept. So if other concepts in the collection referred to that concept and you updated it to the latest version, is there a scenario where those other concepts sort of didn't want to do that? I don't know if that question makes sense.
Yeah, no, the question makes sense. I don't think that it's possible for that to be yes, I can construct a scenario where that might be where this might be undesired, but I think much more often it's desired to refresh it. Like,
Okay.
you know, you have a, I don't know, you have a set of questions. A new question has been added to the set, and you want to get that change. But then one of the other questions and the older questions in the set has had new answers added, and you don't want the new answers or something. I can construct a scenario, but it's,
Okay.
I think,
yeah, it's an edge case. I understand.
yeah, we can ignore that.
Okay.
The other thing is within OCL itself, right? The linkages are kind of not the linkages. Yeah, they're not really to, they're not to a version. They're to just a concept ID, right?
Yeah.
That's how the mappings work. And so in CL, they're inherently linking to the latest version.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
So apart from this,
so eventually in the long run, we might have like a fork concept behavior and or a smarter refresh function, but that's not, that's out of scope for this.
Okay. Okay. Right. So I guess that's it from the demo. I guess Cynthia can take over for the for the other planning activities.
Okay.
Mic check, Cynthia.
Cynthia, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to get a better understanding of your team composition because I have not had an opportunity to meet your team members, nor have I seen them feature in the activities or the tickets that are open and need to be completed. What is the arrangement between yourself and these other two individuals who are doing the work part-time?
Right. Okay. So so Paul has been doing testing. He actually shared with me a doc today of like the progress he had made on each of like the testing scenarios. However, given that it was not a sort of like it was not official for everyone, for like the rest, Dan and Alex have not been able to have not yet begun contributing yet. So they had said that they'd begin this week. Unfortunately, they have not yet. So okay, so I think let me reach out to them so that we can have like a clear sort of outline of how much work will be expected to come from them like per week. Would that be fair?
Yes, so let me understand. You are saying that the other two team members have not yet officially started on the project, or because I would like to follow up with Trust to give me some clarity on how this team has been constituted.
Yeah. So the other three members of the team are working on this sort of on their time. So so like they have other like full-time work at Andela, and this is basically what they are doing on the side. So it's not like a hard requirement for them to actually contribute.
So, but then the communication that we received is that they would be dedicating half of their time to this project. That's the email communication I have, that you are the lead and you have 2 or 3 individuals who are working with you at half or at 50%. That's what I understood.
I mean, that was certainly the impression I had at the beginning, but okay, so yeah, I mean, sort of to make this clearer, I think let me just reach out to them today and then give you like the exact feedback on that in the next 2 hours.
Yes, I'd appreciate that. Yeah. That would give me an idea of what is the actual capacity, because I've not been able to determine how the team has been set up.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Now, with the test cases that have already been created by Darius, I noticed that. So, what is your approach for going through those test cases or those items on the Excel sheet? Because I noted in the last meeting that you mentioned that you are doing some testing and you are fixing the bugs as you go along. So how are you tracking the bugs that you see and the bugs that you correct vis-a-vis and over and above what Darius and Andrew tell you on this call?
Yes. Right. Two things. First, I think that has sort of brought out an. So I'm not sure we've been tracking sort of regressions. Okay. So right now, what we've been doing is, okay. So for example, let me share with you the doc that that Paul has been updating. Right. So okay. So we've basically been like just trying something and then just yeah, like just sort of marking this has been tested but by so and so, because I think it's better if everyone tests everything, and then for those where we found issues, we would sort of note that down and then come sit together and like review that particular thing and then decide on whether or not the ticket is necessary. The only bug that has so far come from this was the one I went through for the owner of the collection. So in regards to,
I have a question. So
yes.
Go ahead. I'll ask later.
Right. So in regards to, let's see, tracking regressions. So I mean, I think ideally I hoped that if we have multiple people testing this, if someone discovers a bug and that bug is so that ticket is put up and it's fixed and that's tested, the next person that will be testing that particular feature, like if they do report, then we would mark that as a sort of regression. But if but otherwise, we would expect that should not show up again. If a ticket has been like put up and worked on and merged. Yeah, so basically right now the approach has just been testing one by one and just marking what has been done by so and so, and then noting down sort of concerns we had on each. Is that clear?
Could you give me permission to your document?
Oh,
it's
okay.
asking me to request for permission.
Right, just give me a moment.
Yeah, same here, although and Cynthia, I had a question. I was expecting, I think, that the doc I had written, you or someone was going to go through and add maybe some columns around like tested by this person on such and such a date, findings or something like that.
Yes, sure. So yes, that was supposed to be done. But there was an individual who has expressed interest, who does have prior experience with the OCL, and he's looking to do QA related work. His name is Waweru, and he had expressed interest to take the lead on this effort, to volunteer to help me. Unfortunately for me, it seems that whenever I'm, looking for him to come and finish the work, he's not available. Like today, for example, he was supposed to be on this call. So it's a bit of a slippery situation. So at this time, I have told him that he needs to finish it by close of business, my time, which is now 10 to 4. So by close of business today, if he hasn't taken it up, then I will have to just continue. And then if he does show up, then we can decide next steps. But the advice I had been given was that I should give as many opportunities to the community to help establish this. The idea behind this exercise or that approach was that we also wanted to come up with a team of volunteers who not only will do the testing, but also start working on some of the things the completion of this testing exercise. So there was supposed to be, I see 5 people, but I don't know whether the full team is here. There's about 3 or 4 people who had expressed interest in actually doing this whole testing exercise. Independently, they are not too familiar with OCL, but they were looking to start testing it themselves. I only see one of them on this call, so I will need to circle back to ensure that we constitute a team in the next day or so to move it forward. It's been a bit challenging because trying to corral people to move this forward it has not been too easy, but I'm trying to do that. If I fail, then it will just be left to me and Moses, the release manager, to move forward.
No, I certainly understand. Getting volunteers to do things on a given timeline is fraught with risk. I do think that since the Andela team is already testing this, I guess I'm a little unclear on why we would have the Andela team test the same scenarios but record the results in a different place.
That's what I'm also trying to establish. That's why I was asking this question, that why are you tracking it? And that's why I was asking you a lot of questions this morning.
Yes.
That if you are doing a testing and it's a public testing like this one, everybody needs to see it, and we have to have a way of tracking it for everybody.
Yes.
So for me, for example, this is the first time I'm seeing your Excel sheet.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen how, who is tackling what particular issue when, so that we actually can report and say, okay, this is really where we are.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to sit and either combine the 2 Excel sheets, or what is it? Or we will have to reconstitute some sort of document that everybody comes to, and we have one central point of referral.
Yes. Okay. All right. Awesome. We're going to move everything that's in this other sheet to the main sheet. Also, Darius, would you please make the other sheet open for everyone to comment, so that sort of anyone can just comment, if that's fine.
I believe it's already shareable.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's shareable for anyone to comment.
Yes, to comment.
And I also think that you are probably I think you can also probably share. At least I intended to give you access to be able to share with others, especially like if there's others on Andela or something.
So basically, should anyone be able to edit? So because if we are adding columns for like testing findings.
Yeah, I guess so. I had originally not made it like anyone in the world with a link can edit, but I guess that's what we need to do.
Yeah. We can just do a version so that in case something goes wrong, we can always get back to that.
I wonder if I can do that from my phone. I'll try to do that now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's try. If it fails, then I'm not sure if I'm a primary editor on that. Otherwise, I would have done it, and you don't have to do it on your phone. So if we can put everything on one document, I think that will be very good.
Okay.
And then moving forward, please, Lincoln.
Yes.
It's just for the sake of ensuring that at the end of this process, everybody is satisfied with the result of this product.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We need to ensure that we are communicating.
Okay.
When I ask questions, it is not that I'm trying to poke in your things.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to establish is where are you, so that if I need to make urgent calls or get people above me to make such requests, I can do so. But if I don't have any visibility into the actual status, we will keep coming to this Wednesday call and nothing is done. And already tomorrow is August 5th.
Yeah.
So my appeal to you and your team,
yes,
put yourselves in a way that you are doing it. This is the last chance or last opportunity to complete this thing.
Okay.
and let us just go ahead and do it. If you see that we've now got a structure, if you have your document, put it there, let us see. So
Okay.
that Daniel, and you see how Daniel fires the questions. You know, he's a no-nonsense man. So you must make sure that when you are facing him, all your things are in order.
In order, yes.
I don't want a situation where we are testing, product owners are coming and they're still seeing gaps. We need to be showing that there's progress.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So please, find out from your team members. If they are not willing to contribute, it will be good for us to know, then we know what to expect in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
We may not even get to finish testing if it's only one person.
Okay.
Because the rate you also need to fix the bugs you see, isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
So it's very, very important. Constitute, you are the team lead. I don't have control over your colleagues. Please constitute your team. If you are having issues, send the email to me and I will ask Trust.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So please constitute your team, copy the things onto one doc, and let's start. Tomorrow is 1st of August. I'm counting it as a new day.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
sir?
All right. All right, Cynthia.
Okay, so those are my comments. I want to see that in the next 2 weeks, we have actually covered at least 60% of these test cases.
Okay.
Yes, and if you see something, communicate. Don't wait for me to send an email or Daniel to send an email, because by then everybody will come to the meeting irritated. I'm just being fair and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's it from my side. Please do what you need to. I will get my people also in order in the next day, as I've assured Darius. If I fail to get what I need, we will then have to escalate it. So we will be working on our part to make sure we are constituted and ready to start tomorrow.
All right, Cynthia.
Okay, sir.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any questions for me? Comments?
No, not at the moment, no.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks guys for showing up. Next week.
Okay then. Thank you and have a good day. And I'll be looking to see your posts.
I made the doc world editable and I added a couple of columns, but someone can, of course, change the formatting of that if there's a better process.
Okay.
Yes, we'll do.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you, everyone. Good day. Bye-bye.